Hey everyone, it's me, Jonathan. Yes, I held true to my promise, like I said in my video yesterday. I will be posting a video, so here goes. I expect this video to be long and winded and just a lot of stuff going on. Heavy-ish. Not real, I don't know. Because today, I am talking about my disease and diagnosis of it. Okay, so some of you might know, because you know me in person, that in January I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. Here is a brief explanation of what type 1 diabetes is. So, scientists aren't exactly aware of the cause, but it's not sugar. So, what happens is the pancreas, which produces a hormone called insulin, which lowers your blood sugar, stops producing insulin, meaning sugar in your blood keeps building up and it puts you into an unhealthy state. In my case, it was called DKA, diabetic ketoacidosis. And what it means is that you have to now inject your own insulin. Basically, the insulin allows your cells to take in sugar that you create, that you eat, sugar from the food that you eat and put it into your cells. So without that, you die. So my period of diagnosis was in January, but the symptoms had started to come up around late December. So what the main ones are is peeing, frequent urination, peeing all the time, but also being thirsty all of the time, because you're really dehydrated. You get you can get shaky and all sorts of things, but for me mostly it was, and towards the end you're gonna just get you're just gonna have no energy. So the no energy didn't really happen till the very end. But so what happens in diabetic ketoacidosis, or DKA, is so your body is trying to survive and bring energy into the cells, but it can't because insulin doesn't exist in your body, so it starts breaking down your muscles and fat, and that keeps you alive. But as a byproduct, it creates chemicals called ketones, which build up in your bloodstream, and your body is just trying to get rid of them and get rid of all the sugar, so it just tries to pee it out, and that gets rid of all of your liquids, so you need to keep trying. You kept trying to refill, but my body just would not take it, and was trying to get rid of my ketones and my sugar because there was just too much. So come January, mid-January, right when first few days before the blizzard are starting, actually the day before I was diagnosed, there was news about a huge blizzard coming, and I was actually at my play rehearsal for my school. We were doing The Lion King, and so I had a rehearsal, and I just remember I was really thirsty, so I had a drink with me, and I was just drinking, and I just remember I started to drink, and I just felt terrible. I felt like a bubble is how I described it, just sort of like appearing right here, and just really acidic. It's like heartburn, but in like acid reflux, but like in this one place, and it was just terrible. It was just really acidic, this acidic bubble right here. Little did I know was that because I was full of ketones, which ketones are an acid. We're actually related to acetone, nail polish remover. Oh, one of the other symptoms is having your breath smell like nail polish remover, so yeah. So, but then the next day, I was vomiting too. I couldn't really hold anything down because my body was just like rejecting all the sugar. So actually, I'd missed a day of school earlier that week because I was not feeling well. But so, the fateful day, snow is starting, and I just feel terrible, like the flu. I just feel really shitty. And so, I'm just sleeping, I'm throwing everything. So what are you doing? And So then we decide to take me to one of those, like a 24-hour clinic, one of those just like clinics that are open. And they're like, whoa, he's dehydrated. His pulse is really high. You need to take him to the hospital right away. So snow has just started coming down. My parents are taking me to the hospital. They don't know what's up. I don't know what's up. Though actually I had a sneaking suspicion that it was what it was because WebMD had told me. But I'm just like, no, it's not that. I'm just thirsty. I don't know. I'm just dehydrated. So they get me to the hospital, and I remember just having no energy, and so I get processed. They put me down in one of the hospital beds thingies, and basically right away they put an IV in my arms, two IVs, so they could do stuff. And I think right away they got me just a saline drip to get me flushed out and fluidy. But they, I'm sure, were also like, he probably has diabetes. So they took blood right away, and they come back a little bit with the diagnosis. And I just remember, like some things you forget. Like, I remember that whole week, like, so vividly. It's really weird. Like, I remember just sitting in that bed, and I felt like someone had taken a sponge and just, like, left it in the sun. I just felt so dry, is the best way of describing it. So what they did, they came back, and they found out that my blood sugar was 390. Now, that is way too high. The average blood sugar for a non-diabetic person is between 80 and 120, so I was just a bit above that. So that's when they told me that's when they told my parents and I that I had type 1 diabetes. And they said I had to be transferred to another hospital who had a better, because they didn't have the best system. They recommended that I go to a children's hospital, which would have a better track for dealing with it. So my mom was with me, both my parents were with me. My dad's like, I need to go home to get stuff, because we had nothing. We thought we would just be in and out. Okay, fine. But so my dad went home to get some stuff, and I awaited an ambulance, but that took a while. So I was just sitting there with a drip in for a while. So eventually, ambulance came, and they had to take me out, and they knew I had to get insulin immediately, but the ambulance they sent was not allowed to give me insulin for whatever reason that I don't remember, and they could have sent one, but it would have taken another hour, and I was in such a critical condition that it couldn't have waited that long. So I get there, I still have a saline drip in me, and I remember they gave me a really warm blanket, which was very nice and very comfortable. And then I was driven over, and I actually fell asleep there because I was just so tired. And after that, it wasn't too eventful. I remember they had me out on a stretcher, even though I could walk, but not very well. And then they bussed me up to an ICU because I was in critical condition, and they wouldn't let anyone leave the hospital at that moment because it was storming so heavily. No one could go in. People could go in, but you couldn't go out. All of the nurses were like stuck there for a few days because of the blizzard. So they got me into the ICU, and first I was met by a nurse named Daniela, who was wonderful. She took great care of me during her shift, and she was so nice, and I remember her. First thing I think they did, they took like a nose swab for MRSA or something. No MRSA, that's good. And then they laid me down in the bed, and they gave me my insulin drip. And from there they kept And then from there, they just had me go to sleep because it was late and I was tired. My mom with me, my dad was coming at some point. So I was just I would be at least spending the night there. I spent more than a few nights there because of the blizzard part. So the next few days kind of continue. I think I was there for, it was either 3 or 4 days, but insulin drip. They actually they didn't allow me to eat for the first 2 days, I think. But I don't remember even having an appetite for eating. I just don't even know what I was feeling then. It was just such a shock, I guess. Like, I didn't know what this would entail, but I don't know. So, I remember the first person I told was my friend Sammy, who I had my phone with me because my dad brought it over, and I went on Google Hangouts and I messaged her, and I remember she was just like, she looked so concerned when I opened it, when she saw the camera. She's like, "Jonathan, what's wrong? Are you okay?" And then I'm like, "Not really." And then I remember explaining my condition, and she's like, "Oh my God, the dream came true. No." She had a dream we're in ICU. Long story, but like I remember she was the first person who she was the first and a half player of my support team. And I remember, I also had another nurse, Michelle, she was fine. I mean, nothing wrong with her. I just remember they were taking my blood sugar every hour, which was not fun because they have these lancets to prick your fingers at the hospital, which are fucking terrible. They're awful. They're so painful. And it was so disruptive to my sleep, and I don't think I got out of bed for like 2 days. But once I did, because I was feeling up to getting up, I got up, and I was allowed to eat ice chips. Fun. I also, I was like, I really was not doing much. But eventually, once I'd cleared some rooms and stuff, I remember being in the ICU. It's really depressing. It's just, the room seems really sick, and you lose sense of your time of day, even though you have a window. But it was blizzarding, so there was only snow and nothing else. And it's just a room full of like sick children, and like next to me there was like this infant or a few-year-old, and it was just really depressing. Like, I don't know. But so eventually they found me a normal hospital room. So I remember they got me up at 3 a.m., wheelchaired me over. I'm like, "Oh, I don't need the wheelchair." They're like, "Yes, you do." Okay. Wheeled me in, and I'm like, finally, maybe I'll be able to get some sleep. Little did I know. So they have like a pulse ox thing on my finger to just get like my heart rate and stuff, because it was on the high side, and because, you know, that was what was happening. But it was slowly going down. But the machine in this new room was set to, I think, like beep if it went past a certain threshold. Like, I don't know what it was, but so as soon as she plugged me in, I was beeping all night. It just went like beep, 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 and it would not stop until your heart rate went down just a bit. So I did not get much sleep this night. But when I get in the morning, the nurse there, she's like, "Oh, they didn't need to plug you into that." And I'm just like, thanks. Well, I was probably more like, thanks. But from there, I mean, we actually had to wait like a day to become, I think it was 4 days. Yeah, to wait on an educator because they couldn't get in because they're not there every day because they don't work every day. And so basically it was just a day at the hospital. I got up and I was allowed to eat. That was nice. Oh, they let me eat the last day in the ICU lunch. Not breakfast, but lunch and dinner. But I had food and it was good, and they took good care of me, and eventually I Oh, and on the last day where the educators were there, a person in our neighborhood drove my dad over because our car could not get out in the snow, but he had a big truck. So that was really nice of them, and I'm so grateful that they did that. And then I was really, I had eaten and everything, and they had given me my insulin shot, because now I could eat normally, and now I was prepared to take on what was gonna happen. So this was like a whole day from like mid-morning till a few hours in the afternoon, like 2, 3, I don't know. So this was all day learning everything I need to know, looking for the signs of highs and lows and everything in between, how to give a shot. So then finally, our good friends got out there and they drove us home to my house, which was really nice of them. They actually have a diabetic daughter too, so I talked to her a bit too. So I get home and it's time to, I guess, we are ready to tackle this ourselves, so yeah, and that's what I remember. It was so weird. My dad had been giving me all my shots, but I was taking my blood sugar. I only recently started warming up to giving myself shots. I've actually been doing my lunch shots, so that's nice. I use these things called an insulin pen, which is pre-filled with insulin, and you just dial in a dosage, so no syringe drying up and everything. So yeah, it's a challenge, but I mean, I can do it. It's not by any means fun, but I mean, what's the alternative? I mean, yeah. There's my life. As a techie guy, I get to see all the cool technology with it, though. So I have my blood glucose meters and my pens and all the stuff, and I'm gonna be getting what's called a CGM soon, a continuous glucose monitor, which is basically a little sensor that gets stuck under your skin, and it takes your sugar readings all the time to help you. So that's gonna be cool, and I have a good team of people I know, and my doctors are great, and Children's Medical took really great care of me, and is still taking good care of me. And okay, here's where I do most of my testing. This room in my house. So here are main stuff. This white thing. It's my meter. It stores all of my blood glucose values. This is the thing where you prick your finger and you put onto a little test strip. Focus. So yeah, if I can actually turn it on, I can see. So it has my history and it tracks patterns and stuff. So you stick a test strip from this vial here into the top, and you can prick your finger using this little thingy thing, lancet. And these are my insulin pens. They contain the recipe for survival. And these are my needles. I thought it would be a lot worse, but it's not as bad as I thought, because these needles are pretty tiny. They're like 4 millimeters or something, and they're not too bad. So I have my Humalog, which I take at meals, and my Lantus, which I take at night, which is my long-acting insulin, which smooths your numbers throughout the day. This little blue stuff is for calibrating the device, my meter. And I actually have a whole kit full of stuff. I carry around my supplies on a day-to-day basis. So I'll try to continue to keep posted and tell you about new things, and I'll try, fingers crossed, to upload videos here and then, but here goes. So I'm actually now going to show you my kit. So this little largish blue bag, when they first came out of the hospital, they gave me this ugly camo bag, which I remember hated taking around. Also, the nurse at my school is the nicest thing on the planet, and she's just so fantastic, and it's great to have her. So inside there's much of the same that you saw in the last video. So this order. It's from Diabetic, who makes really nice cases. My lancet, and my meter, and my test strips. So I guess this is a little. And then there's this nice part of it, trash disposal. If when you're finished using needles and stuff, you just put them in here. Alcohol swabs, needles in here. And I have these lancet drums, so you prick your finger using these needles thingies called lancets, but my lancet holds 6, so you just, when you're finished with a lancet, you just pull them out and you can put in 6 at a time. Next, I have the scary compartment, as I call it sometimes, because it includes all of the stuff in case something goes wrong. So here in the scary red box is glucagon, in case I have a severe low blood sugar, like enough that I were to either pass out or something. And so this is another shot that basically tells your liver to expel all of its sugar that it stores. In here I also have glucose tablets, which if you're not so low, but when you're low but you're not passed out, you can take sugar, like I have in glucose tablets, which are these disgusting tablets of pure sugar, or Smarties, which are not as disgusting things of pure sugar, and cake gel, which is also pure sugar, just to take it up really quickly. And that I carry around with me every day, so here's to diabetes. No. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. And perhaps I'll be making more videos about diabetes-related things too. Or just normal-related things. Bye. Bye. Sorry to... So I hope you enjoyed the video. It's been a long video, but I hope you could struggle through it like I have. So I hope you're all doing well and you can do it. Bye.